Are we live?
Yes, we are live.
Okay, so hello, dear viewers. I am Samriddhi, your host for today. So, for the newbies, I'll just give you a brief introduction of CodeOS. CodeOS is a government certified platform where we provide different workshops, courses, and internships. And the catch here is that this is made by the students and for the students. So, we have Omkar as co host with me. He's also the founder of CodeOS. So, Omkar, just say hi, please.
Hi everyone.
ओके तो
I guess
काम की
we
बात
have
कर
six rivers. Uh,
सो यू वांट मी टू वेट
no, you can start.
ओके तो काम की बात करते हैं फ्रॉम टुडे वी आर स्टार्टिंग विद दिस सीरीज ऑफ पॉडकास्ट स्मॉल बट सिग्निफिकेंट सो योर वील हैव सम गेस्ट लेक्चर्स हु हैव एक्सपीरियंस like they're placed in good companies, so they'll share their experience and certain tips and tricks as to how they manage to get into these MNCs. So today we have with us our very first guest speaker, Aishwarya, indeed beauty with brain. So welcome, Aishwarya. I'll just
Thanks.
brief about you.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
thanks a lot, CodeOS, for having me here. Looking forward to have an exciting and wonderful session ahead. So hello everyone. I'm Aishwarya Anand, the Computer Engineering 2022 pass out from Ram Rao Adik Institute of Technology. I'm currently placed at Forcepoint as a software engineer one and working there as a software intern right now.
Okay, so as you said, you're into software. So which is the preferred language for you?
So I know the theoretical concepts of both Java as well as C++, but for writing the code, I always prefer C++ since I had opted for C++ in my senior secondary, that is 11th and 12th. So I believe that that is a good enough reason to stick to C++. Also, I would like to mention that do not worry much about the programming language. Use the programming language in which you are most comfortable with. You should be well versed with at least one of the programming language and you are good to go. So basically, your clarity of understanding the basic concepts of any programming language is very important. Suppose you are a person who likes to prefer or likes to code in Python. So make sure that you know the concepts of Python. Suppose you are using a sort function in your Python program. So make sure you know that what algorithm is being used behind the sort function. That is, in case of Python, whenever we use a sort function behind the scene, merge sort and insertion sorts are used. So you should be able to give up the algorithm for these two sorting algorithm as well. So I just want to mention that be well versed with any one of the programming languages, but know inside out of it completely.
Right. That was really like elaborate करके बताया आपने. So now we'll go towards the company oriented questions. So tell me
Okay.
something about the selection process of Forcepoint.
So Forcepoint selection process was a 1 day roller coaster ride for me. It started at 9 o'clock in the morning with a pre-placement talk and ended at 9 o'clock in the night with the results. So the interview process consisted of first the resume shortlisting, where we submitted our resume and on the basis of certain criteria, they shortlisted our resumes. After the resume shortlisting round, there was an online assessment which consisted of 5 questions from DBMS, 5 questions related to aptitude, 5 questions about verbal, 5 questions for cons, 5 questions about OOPS. Basically, all the technical MCQs were present in this online assessment. And once we are done with the online assessment round, the next round was the technical interview one. It basically started with a tell me about yourself question, and then the interviewer started drilling deep into the technical concepts of OOPS. Although we find that OOPS is very uncomplicated and easy concept, but I feel that we should have a very strong grip over it. My interviewer wasn't really interested in knowing the technical definition of OOPS concept, but his focus was extensively on my understanding about it with the help of code examples or applications. So the technical round one lasted for about 1 hour and 10 minutes, out of which 30 minutes was dedicated to the technical concepts of OOPS or memory allocation in Java, C++, about the keywords like new, delete, calloc, malloc. He asked me about the sorting and searching algorithms. And after this, after drilling deep into all these technical concepts for half an hour, then we started with the programming question. For programming question, he had asked me 5 programming questions, out of which 3 were based on linked list and 2 were based on stack. So basically, after listening to the question, I would suggest that don't directly jump into the coding part. First, try to understand the question which the interviewer has given to you. Discuss the approach with the interviewer so that the interviewer can know your thought process. This will give the interviewer an insight about in what direction do you think when you get a coding question. So always communicate with the interviewer. So yeah, he had asked me 3 questions based on linked list and 2 on stack. And while writing the code, he had only asked me to write the function based code. What happens is that in case of GFG or lead code, we do not write the entire program, including the main part. We just write the function for the code. That is the function based coding. So make sure that while writing the code, you use proper variable. For example, if the question is reversing a linked list, so that rather than using variable names like node A, node B, or node C, use variable names like node previous or node current or node next. So make sure that while writing the code implementation part, use proper variable names. And after these 5 programming questions, he had asked me 3 puzzles. You can easily find puzzles on GFG or any other website. Just Google out puzzles which are generally asked during interview rounds, and you can find numerous puzzles there. So after the technical round 1, I received a call from the HR stating that I have been shortlisted for technical round 2. So basically, in the technical round 2, it was mainly on my projects, my internship, my experience as a web development speaker in my college, and also my roles and responsibilities as a student mentor or the technical head of a college committee. So since I was a technical head of one of the college committees. He asked me about that experience. So it was a mix of technical and interpersonal skills. Basically, he wanted to know that what have I done in these 4 years of engineering. He also asked me views about cybersecurity and its importance. So the second technical round, as far as I remember, it lasted for about half an hour. Then finally, there was an HR interview schedule. To be very honest with you, the HR interview didn't sound like an interview. It was more of a conversation between me and the HR. She had really made me feel very comfortable and asked me some general questions like who is your role model, or she even asked me that if you are the team leader, then what quality will you look for a team member. And apart from that, she had also asked whether I can fit into the company well or not, whether I'm okay with night shifts or whether I'm okay with relocating or not. So yeah, basically they just want to know how you are as a person and how well you fit into the company in case of the HR round. So they focus
Like your
more on the
presence of
interpersonal
mind and
skills.
your willingness.
Yeah, exactly. And your interpersonal skills, like apart from technical skills, what else have you done in your college?
Right.
So all those things are
Um,
focused on the HR round.
okay. So, in your opinion, was it more skill oriented or was it project oriented?
The technical round 1 was more skill oriented, like the technical concepts of oops were asked, then programming questions were asked, then puzzles were asked. Whereas in case of the technical round 2, it was more project related and more internship related. Like the interviewer wanted to know about my contribution towards the project. So it was more towards the project oriented side in technical round 2.
Uh, Now, can you just elaborate the three domains of interviews, like the HR, technical, and all?
Okay, so before elaborating on HR, MR, and TR, I would like to state that you can basically bifurcate the selection process into two. One is for the startup based company, and one is for the normal any tech company, which we generally interview in case of our campus placements. So what normally happens is in a normal company, that is a tech-based company which comes to our campus, there is an online assessment which consists of MCQs related to aptitude, cons, verbal reasoning, and technical concepts of OOPS, DBMS, that is database management system, operating system, along with a bit of CN. Along with that, in the online assessment, it also comprises of 1 or 2 programming questions as well. So once you have cleared the online assessment, there would be a technical round wherein the interviewer will ask you questions related to the core CS subjects or DSA questions, that is data structures and algorithm questions, and questions related to your project. I personally believe that data structures and algorithm is an indispensable part of interview preparation. Although don't focus much on the number of DSA questions solved, Focus on the variety and the quality of the question solved, because at the end of the day, how much concept you understood behind each problem is more important. And people
Right.
generally say that interviews are a matter of luck, but I believe the harder you work, the luckier you get. So start doing DSA, because if you do a good variety of DSA question, then the probability that the interviewer is asking you a similar question which you have previously done increases, right? So the
Yes,
more
right.
hard work you do, the more luckier you get in that case. So once you have cleared the technical round one, there will either be a technical round two or a managerial round. So basically, in the managerial round, they will ask you situation-based question wherein you need to depict your leadership skills. Questions like, suppose that you are the manager and how will you resolve a conflict between your team members? Or questions like, if the client wants to incorporate certain changes into your project, but you cannot do those changes, so how will you deny the client? So all these situation based questions might be asked in the managerial round. Along with that, there can also be some technical questions related to your projects. And then finally comes the HR round, wherein they want to know about your interpersonal skills, or how you are as a person, how well you fit into the company. uh, just like my Forcepoint interview, they might ask you questions like whether you are comfortable relocating, or whether you are okay with working in night shifts or not. So this is the selection process of one set of companies. Now for the other set of companies, that is usually the startup based company, what generally they do is that they give you an assignment related to the job role for which you have applied. Suppose I'm applying for a PHP developer. So instead of giving an online assessment on DSA or OOPS or DBMS, they will give me an assignment related to PHP, and they'll give me one day. Like, Aishwarya, you take this assignment, you take a day, and then you submit the code for it. Then once I submit that PHP code, they'll judge me on the basis of the code which I have submitted, and later the interviews would be scheduled. So generally in such interviews, they do not ask you much on DSA or the core CS subject. What they generally do is that they generally ask you about the tech stack for which you have applied. Suppose अगर मैंने PHP developer के लिए apply किया है, तो फिर interview में भी they will ask me about PHP, because after all
Right.
I'm going to work as a PHP developer in that startup, right? So yeah, these are the two sets of selection process as far as I know.
And how long were these interview rounds? Like the three
So
interview
my
rounds?
first technical interview was 1 hour and 10 minutes. That is about 70 minutes. Then the second technical interview was for about half an hour, and the HR round was also for half an hour.
And then when did you receive the offer letter?
I received the offer letter during March, and I got placed during July 2021. That is last year.
Okay. So
So
you
they
So,
released
like
the offer letter
initially
for
got
all
the
the.
interview.
Sorry.
Yeah, please continue.
No, I was saying that they released the offer letter for all the candidates during March itself, like irrespective of the fact whether you were selected during July last year or August, but all the offer letters were released during March. Because since we are 2022 pass out, then definitely we are going to join in July 2022, right? So they just
Yeah.
released the offer letter 3 months back.
Right.
and what kind of projects you have done for your placement? Like,
So
it is only one domain oriented or multiple domains, like
so
cloud.
basically,
Yes, continue.
yeah. So basically, I started with client-based project in my second year of engineering, where we were given a real world problem statement and we were asked to develop a solution or a software for it. So I have three projects which is related to the client based software development, and then I have two to three projects which are related to ML, that is machine learning. Just for my understanding, I had made certain personal projects on machine learning so that I could gain some skills out of it. And apart from that, I also have a certification from Cisco, that is for in case of cybersecurity. I feel that it is good to explore different domains until you find your passion, or until you find what you truly like.
So, according to you, how many projects there should be in resume? Like, is there any
What
fixed number?
it is good to have two to three projects in your resume, but what I feel is that if you include a particular project in your resume, then you should make sure that you can answer any question which the interviewer asks you. That is, you should be able to tackle the questions of the interviewer. So, just for the sake of increasing the number of projects, I would not suggest you to add more and more projects in your resume, but add those projects which you feel that you are confident कि हाँ मतलब मैं आंसर कर पाऊंगी अगर इंटरव्यूअर ने जो भी मुझे पूछा तो ऐसे.
ओके. एंड जो ये ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम कंप्यूटर नेटवर्क्स और जो एक कोर सब्जेक्ट्स है उसको कितना
हाँ,
इम्पोर्टेंस देना चाहिए प्लेसमेंट्स के लिए, क्योंकि डीएस इतना वास्ट है, तो ओएससी एंड डीबीएमएस को हमें कितना टाइम देना चाहिए, या उसका इम्पोर्टेंस लेवल क्या होगा?
मतलब अभी ऑब्जेक्ट ओरिएंटेड प्रोग्रामिंग कॉन्सेप्ट्स तो हर एक इंटरव्यू में पूछते ही है ऑलमोस्ट. If you interview for companies like Amazon or something, then DSA is the most important thing because there they directly ask you ki tell me about yourself, and then they directly dive into the programming questions, that is data structures and algorithms. But if you look at campus placements, then I feel that object oriented programming concepts is important. Then comes DBMS. You should be able to write SQL queries. If they'll give you certain statements, you should be able to write queries for it. OS can also be asked, and CN may rarely CN is asked, computer network, but it's good if you prepare yourself with CN as well.
Okay. Samrit, we continue with other questions.
Okay, so like, did you have any specific intention or like for getting into this field? Maybe you could have tried something different.
In the sense, like computer engineering field, or
Nah, like you could have tried networking, but then you got into this.
actually, Forcepoint is a cybersecurity based company. Here we develop solutions related to cybersecurity itself. And also, since I had already explored ML, I feel that it's good to do that as well. Abhi currently it is a
Um,
networking based company itself.
okay, so my next question is like, did they directly give you offer letter for like full time job, or you were given as an intern?
So basically, when Forcepoint has arrived at our campus, they were hiring for a full time role itself, that is software engineer one. So I was being interviewed for software engineer one, and first I got the role for a full time employee, that is FTE, and then later after 3 months, like my interview had taken place around last year, June, July itself. After 3 months, I received a call from the HR stating that, "Are you interested to join Forcepoint as an intern?" To which I readily agreed. And yeah, so it's not like it is performance based internship, like you will get a PPO based on your performance. So, firstly, I got
So
a FTE
that
role,
was
and then
optional. You had
yeah,
choice in the
it was an
internship.
additional. It was an additional thing that I got.
Okay, and would you like to give some tips and tricks to like do well in the interview and not get nervous?
Okay, so for that, I feel communication skills are really very important during the interview process. I have seen many people who are technically very strong, but yet they are not able to present themselves in a beautiful way. अभी आपके पास बहुत सारा टेक्निकल नॉलेज है बट आप उसे प्रेजेंट ही नहीं कर पा रहे इन द फ्रंट ऑफ इंटरव्यूअर. सो हाउ कैन द इंटरव्यूअर फील कॉन्फिडेंट इन हायरिंग यू? You yourself have to present yourself in a way ki the interviewer feels that this is a good resource for our company, right? So in order to improve your communication skills, you can join college committees which will shape your personality. I believe ki if you are weak at something, do that thing repetitively until you become good at it. So if you are weak at maths, practice more some. Similarly, if you are weak at communication skills, you conduct podcast, or you can conduct sessions. You can join certain college committees. Personally, I had joined the college committee under the publicity team in my first year itself in order to improve my communication, and I feel that it has benefited me a lot. Just like Omkar is improving his communication
Yes, yes.
by organizing boot camps and podcasts.
Right. Okay, so if you have any doubts, you can just put it in the comment section. Omkar, just pin the
किसी
comments.
किसी को भी कुछ भी डाउट हो प्लेसमेंट मतलब फोर्स पॉइंट के इंटरव्यू प्रोसेस के बारे में, या लाइक फर्स्ट राउंड के बारे में, ऑनलाइन असेसमेंट के बारे में, यू कैन पुट इन अ कमेंट, तो उसका आंसर हम ऐश्वर्या कर देंगे. तो उसके अलावा और भी किसी को टेक्निकल राउंड, एचआर राउंड के रिलेटेड डाउट्स हो गए तो यू कैन आस्क ऑन इन अ कमेंट सेक्शन.
Or also,
आई
I
गेस.
would like to give some insights. Ki लोग यूजुअली एप्टीट्यूड को निग्लेक्ट कर देते हैं, बट रिमेंबर दैट इट इज द गेट फॉर योर इंटरव्यू प्रोसेस. सो डोंट कंप्लीटली निग्लेक्ट इट, हैव अ गुड बैलेंस. बिकॉज आप अगर एप्टी ही नहीं क्लियर कर पा रहे हो तो आपका टेक्निकल नॉलेज आप प्रेजेंट ही नहीं कर पा रहे हो इंटरव्यू में. So make sure that you give focus on the aptitude as well. And don't add too many technical jargons in your resume. Add terms which you are confident about, because hamisha a resume should be a reflection of you. So all the topics which you have mentioned in your resume, make sure that you are confident about it, that you can tackle any question when the interviewer will ask you. uh, One incident had happened with one of my friends where he had emphasized that he had secured 10 pointer in DBMS. So the interviewer asked him certain SQL queries, but he was unable to answer those queries. So it really creates a very bad impression कि आप कोई चीज़ ऐड कर रहे हो technically but you are not aware of it. So don't do that. Add things which you are confident about. Even in my case, I have done Python, but still I have not added it because मैं नहीं हूँ उतनी confident whether the interviewer will ask me certain questions and I would be able to answer him करके. So this is a question which many of the juniors have asked me कि resume में और stack डालूं क्या, React डालूं क्या, Node डालूं क्या. So that is why I would like to mention that. And
मतलब
along with that,
कॉन्फिडेंट हो तो ही डालो, बस
हाँ,
भरने के लिए नहीं डालना है.
हाँ एग्जैक्टली कि भरने के लिए मत डालो, कॉन्फिडेंट हो तो ही डालो, क्योंकि इंटरव्यूअर विल सी योर resume एंड देन ही विल आस्क यू क्वेश्चंस आउट ऑफ दोज resume. So if you
Right.
have added something, make sure that you know about it. ऐसे. And along with that, you can also try to take the interview in a direction in which you desire to. जैसे कि for example in Forcepoint interview itself, they had asked me कि tell me about the sorting algorithms, like the selection sort or the merge sort. So I told him about quick sort, selection sort, merge sort, and other sorting algorithms. And then I also explicitly mentioned that in case of C++, we can use sort function, which is present in the STL library of C++. So the next question which the interviewer asked me was, what is the STL library? So you see, I had intentionally mentioned explicitly कि हाँ मतलब C++ में there is an STL library, because I knew कि even if the interviewer asked me about STL, I could be able to answer him well. So you can drag the interview to a direction कि interviewer उसी direction में जाए आपके साथ, in which you are strong. You can do that in most of the interviews.
I guess
So
Vaibhav have
basically,
some
we give
doubts.
our interviews, they don't take our interviews.
हाँ right.
Okay, so
I guess
Vaibhav, could you come up with
Vaibhav,
a question?
actually
Can you
HTL is the alternative of collection framework, right? According to
collection
my knowledge.
like using the STL, yeah, right.
हाँ.
Using predefined functions, you can use certain predefined function. It's just like, as I mentioned, that you should know about the internal working of it. If you are using sort in case of C++, you should know what is happening behind the scenes. What all sort algorithm is combined. In case of C++, three sort algorithms are combined together. मतलब based upon the use cases, C++ internally ही sort use करता है कि उसे कौन सा use करना चाहिए. तो इट्स जस्ट कि आपको आंसर करने आना चाहिए कि इंटरनल वर्किंग में क्या हो रहा है. You cannot just directly use a function without knowing what is happening behind the scenes. That is the only thing. And it's always good not to use such libraries. हमेशा ट्राई करो कि आप पूरा ही कोड लिखो ताकि इंटरव्यूअर को पता चले that your logic building is good and you can write the entire code इसलिए.
Okay. So Vaibhav, you can use collection framework, but it's better to not use. In short, this,
If even if you're using, know the internal details of it.
what is your take on internship? Are they important?
Okay, so basically, there's a big difference between what we learn in college and what we do in a job, right? So internship is a way to bridge that gap. Basically, you will get an opportunity to apply your knowledge and skills in a real life setting, where it will give you an industry exposure. And using internship, you can learn how to collaboratively work as a team and develop certain thing and deliver it to someone, right? So internships are important. I'll not say that internship is mandatory for you to crack a good offer, but yes, the skills and experience which you gain from the internship is really very important. So, yeah, if you don't have much time left, then you can gain skills by making personal projects wherein you know the projects inside out and you can answer the interview questions with utmost detail. But if you're doing an internship and the only good thing you get out of the internship is a certificate, then I don't think that it's worth your time. You should be able to gain certain skills out of those internships. And what happens in case of the personal project is that you know the entire project. You're the only one handling the front end, the back end, and the deployment process. तो आपको सारे डोमेन्स के बारे में पता चल जाता है. Whereas in case of a team project, although team projects are good because it helps you to work collaboratively, but in case of the team project, what happens is that if you are focusing on front end, you do not know what the back end guy or what the deployment guy is doing, right? So yeah, internships are important, but not for certifications, but for the skills and experience which you get out of it.
ओके सो जो कॉलेज में इंटर्नशिप्स होते हैं कैन वी गो फॉर दैट बिकॉज वी कैन लर्न फ्रॉम इट राइट
Yeah,
ऐसा नहीं है कि
definitely.
यू हैव टू
Huh.
गो टू सम ऑफिस और सम प्लेस एंड देन ओनली यू कैन लर्न
It is not necessary. You can do internal internships in your college campus and you can also do external internships. Internal means just that you know who is your peer, matlab you know your team members and everything, and external mein sab unknown rehte hai, so you try to collaborate with them. I had done 4 maybe internal internship and 2 external ones.
एंड हाउ डिड यू गेट दोज इंटर्नशिप्स
So both the internships, out of which one was from LinkedIn and one was from Internshala. So yeah, these were the 2 internship. Basically, they had given me an assignment. It was a front end development internship. They had given me an assignment. They had asked me to submit the code, and then on the basis of the code, they conducted an interview, and then finally they shortlisted me for it. It was a good startup where I got to know a lot of things like it was mainly on React, sorry, not on React, on JavaScript using GraphJS and everything.
So it's better to have internship in your resume, but अगर नहीं हो internships तो भी बड़ी दिक्कत नहीं है, right?
हाँ मतलब
मतलब
पर्सनल
we can
प्रोजेक्ट्स कर
crack
लो.
हाँ.
हाँ यू कैन मतलब इट इज नॉट द ओनली क्राइटेरिया. यू कैन क्रैक अ गुड ऑफर अगर आपने पर्सनल प्रोजेक्ट्स किए हो और आपको अच्छे से पता हो कि उस प्रोजेक्ट में क्या हो रहा है करके.
और ये जो पर्सनल प्रोजेक्ट है तो ऐसा लाइक जो छोटे छोटे एप्स होते हैं कैलकुलेटर या स्टूडेंट मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम या इस टाइप के तो दिस प्रोजेक्ट शुड बी समथिंग मॉडिफाइड बाय स्टूडेंट्स राइट लाइक मतलब
हाँ
हम लोग कुछ
मतलब
वेबसाइट बना रहे हैं तो फिर हम लोग कुछ तो कंट्रीब्यूट करके अलग से बनाना चाहिए राइट
राइट मतलब ये जो स्टूडेंट मैनेजमेंट एंड एवरीथिंग इज गुड फॉर अ स्टार्ट. मतलब आप अगर कुछ सीखना चाहते हो इट इज गुड टू बिगिन विद, बट लेटर ऑन एज यू प्रोग्रेस इट इज गुड टू इंक्रीज द कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी ऑफ these projects on
या
which you work. And also it is very good if you try to solve certain real world problems because that becomes a talking point for the interview. Suppose कोई चीज है जो ऑफलाइन वे में हो रही है मैनुअली, so you can automate that process which will eventually be a real time project, right? So that would be like a product which is used by some people, so it becomes a talking point in the interview process as well.
इन योर ओपिनियन व्हाट इज द इम्पोर्टेंस ऑफ गिटहब
See, now since it is online interviews are being conducted. There are interviewers who ask you to share your screen and tell कि GitHub में क्या कितने projects है बताओ करके. It is always good to showcase your softwares on GitHub so that you can post it on LinkedIn and you can say that you have certain skills, you have developed certain projects. But simply cloning the project and then pushing it on your GitHub account won't work. You should do your project by your own and then push it onto your GitHub account. It is basically used to showcase कि हाँ मतलब I have done these projects करके.
मतलब
Most of the
मॉरल ऑफ
people
द
add.
स्टोरी इज कि प्लीज
हाँ.
कंटिन्यू
No, it's just कि most of the people add their GitHub link in LinkedIn as well. That is because कि I just want to showcase that I have done these projects or I have done something else and I have posted it on GitHub. That's it. That's a good way to showcase your skills, I feel.
Right. So showcase, but you should have
Exactly.
in-depth knowledge of that.
हाँ राइट. इट्स जस्ट कि इंटरव्यू के सारे क्वेश्चंस आंसर करने होना चाहिए, सो हैव गुड नॉलेज अबाउट इट.
Right. So are there any more questions, Omkar?
No, no, there are no any questions. And what is your take on the programs like Google Cloud Ready या Microsoft Azure के जैसे अलग अलग प्रोग्राम्स होते हैं क्लाउड्स के या नेटवर्किंग के जहाँ पे लोग स्वैक्स के लिए कंप्लीट करते हैं, तो उसके बारे में क्या ओपिनियन है कि
दिस इज
यूजफुल है क्या?
एक्चुअली दिस इज एक्चुअली अ वेरी डिबेटेबल टॉपिक. इस पे लिंक्डइन पे बहुत कुछ हो चुका है ऑलरेडी गूगल क्लाउड पे. सो आई बिलीव कि जो लोग सिंसियरली एंड जेन्युइनली कर रहे हैं गूगल क्लाउड वाला प्रोग्राम, दे आर गेनिंग समथिंग आउट ऑफ इट. एंड दोज हु आर नॉट डूइंग इट सिंसियरली, तो डेफिनेटली दे आर नॉट गेनिंग एनीथिंग आउट ऑफ इट, राइट? अगर आपने सिंसियरली किया है एंड इफ यू हैव गेन सर्टेन स्किल्स यूजिंग दीज प्रोग्राम्स, इट्स गुड इफ यू डू सच प्रोग्राम्स एज वेल.
क्योंकि
बस
क्या
डोंट
होता
डू
है,
इट फॉर स्वैग्स. मतलब generally people
हाँ,
do it for swags everything, and
हाँ,
then they post it on LinkedIn ki I have received swags from Google Cloud program. So don't do it for swags, do it for the skills which you'll get from it.
and the most common question, how to be consistent. मतलब कंसिस्टेंसी कैसे फॉलो करे, जैसे डीए से करे या लीड कोड कर रहे या गिग्स फॉर गिग्स या कोई भी प्रोजेक्ट
हाँ.
करे, लाइक मैंने समझा आज एक यूडीमी का कोर्स लिया जो रिएक्ट पे ऊपर है.
Hmm.
जब भी लेता हूँ लेने से पहले लगता है कि हाँ, अरे 22 आवर्स का कोर्स है, हर दिन 5-5 घंटे करके एक वीक में खत्म कर दूंगा. बट जब भी
Hmm.
स्टार्ट करते हैं तो फर्स्ट 2 आवर्स करने के बाद वो वैसे रह जाता है और फिर से इंटरेस्ट ऐसा जल्दी से आता नहीं. सो इन यू हैव एनी suggestions for that to be consistent in project
मतलब
or
I
any,
feel
yes, any learning. Yeah,
I feel self-help books are important in this case. मतलब you can read Atomic Habits. Always think about the end goal. कि मतलब why do you want to do this particular task, or why do you want to perform this action? Always
yeah,
focus on the end goal of it. So suppose आज अगर मैंने रोज दो डीएसए के क्वेश्चंस कर लिए, तो आफ्टर 1 year कितने क्वेश्चंस हो जाएंगे मेरे डीएसए के? ऑलमोस्ट अबाउट 700 क्वेश्चंस, which is enough for
yeah,
me to crack a very good company. So
yeah,
always focus ki if you repetitively do such small tasks, what would be the end goal out of it? So I feel persistence in that case is very important. Ki even if difficulties aye, still you
yeah,
should be persistent and you should do that
हाँ,
persistently. It is one of the important qualities ऐसे. So हमेशा end goal का सोचो कि finally मुझे क्या outcome मिल रहा है करके. Atomic Habits is a very good book I would suggest for this,
yeah,
so that we could learn about consistency and persistence.
mm,
Because that is what they state in the book as well, ki these small insignificant habits, like right now it might seem very insignificant कि मैं रोज बस 2 ही questions कर रही हूँ, but after an year it might have a very significant change कि मैंने 700 questions कर लिए ऐसे दो करते करते. So
हाँ.
that is what I would like to say.
और जो डीएसए के क्वेश्चंस है, तो ऐसा कुछ है कि हमें समझो अमेजोन चाहिए तो 500 क्वेश्चन करनी है या 300 करनी है, या सिर्फ जैसे आप स्टार्टिंग में बोले वैरायटी ऑफ क्वेश्चंस चाहिए, लाइक
Hmm. Hmm.
100 150 उतने किए तो भी हम कर सकते हैं क्या क्रैक कंपनीज लाइक अमेजोन और
हाँ,
अदर स्टार्टअप्स?
definitely. Matlab, there are people on LinkedIn who have solved only about 100 questions on lead code, but yet they are at Amazon. So it does not depend upon the number of questions, but like I mentioned, it depends upon the variety. For example, अगर आपने 500 questions किए, उसमें से आपके 200 are based on string, 200 are based on arrays. That doesn't make any much difference, right? तो वैरायटी होना चाहिए उसमें. Some should be from graph, some should be from string, some should be based on sorting or searching algorithms ऐसे.
If we have question about like what are important topics in DSA? like most important topic?
Like in case of on-campus placements, I believe that they generally ask you about the linear data structure, like the stacks, queues, arrays, strings. But whereas in case of companies like Amazon and everything, they ask you regarding BSTs, that is binary search tree, graphs, heaps. So yeah.
I guess we are done with all the questions. अभी आप किसी ने पूछे नहीं है फिलहाल. So anyone have any questions regarding placement or preparation? You can simply put, okay, how to prepare for aptitude.
So for
By
aptitude, what had I done was that I focused on the topics on which I'm weak. For example, मेरा simple interest and compound interest weak था. So I used to just search on YouTube videos related to simple interest and compound interest. And for practicing aptitude question, I referred to indiabix.com. There's a site called as Indiabix, that is INDIABIX. So there I used to practice in a time constrained environment. मतलब 30 minutes होता था वहाँ पे, and then you used to practice the aptitude based questions. So just topics में I'm already strong, I didn't used to go and again practice those questions, but मैं general mix of questions लेती थी. और जिस मैं weak हूँ वो मैं अलग से I used to practice using YouTube or something. Or like
So how
speed,
long did
distance,
it
time.
take?
I actually started with aptitude uh, I feel I started with aptitude during April or March, and my placement session started from July or June. So yeah, 2 to 3 months were enough. Daily thoda thoda aptitude karo, it's enough for you. But it's just that don't neglect it, since I mentioned that it is the gate for you to go to the interview process or proceed with the interview process.
So if anyone has any doubt, please comment it below. Okay, so Omkar has put the link in description box. Sorry, in the comment section.
so I guess no one has more doubts regarding placement. If you guys have any doubts, you can simply follow Aishwarya on LinkedIn, uh, and you can also connect with her on LinkedIn.
I can see one of the questions: how important is how important role does confidence play in an interview? So definitely in an interview, if you be confident always and never lie, be very honest and transparent with the interviewer. Suppose if you don't know a good answer to a particular question, it's completely okay to admit that you do not know the answer to this question, but still you are going to try for it, because you cannot possibly know everything, right? So you can just mention the interviewer that, see, I do not know the answer to this question, but still I try to answer it. So in that, what happens is that you are demonstrating that you are transparent about your skills and you are aware of your knowledge gaps, and you won't give up when facing new challenges. Confidence definitely plays a very important role. And you can enhance your confidence by, like I mentioned, you can join the publicity teams of college committees, or you can take certain sessions. All these things will certainly boost your confidence. Because if you yourself are not confident about your skills, then how can you expect the interviewer to be confident in hiring you? So yeah, that is why confidence plays a very major role. uh, yeah, there are various templates available online for our college placements. There was a specific template specified by our training and placement cell, and we were asked to stick to that template itself. But online you can see various templates which are available. There are resume making websites also present. Don't add in pictures in your resume, and don't make it way too colorful or anything. Keep it very simple and try to add in as much as you can, and keep your resume one page itself. Like one page is enough to depict yourself, I feel. And also in the resume, showcase the projects in a good manner. That is, the choice of words are very important in case of your resume. If you have done a small project, don't say that it is a small project. Present it in a manner that no, it is a very good project which I have done, along with the tech stack which you have used in that project. So yeah, the choice of word also matter. Also, try to keep it grammatically right, although they are not grammar Nazis checking whether the grammar is right or incorrect or not, whether it is correct or not, but it's always better to have the correct grammatical sentence in case of your resume. It creates, because incorrect grammar might create a negative impact, thoda bahut sa. So it is always better if you use correct grammar.
If anyone still has any doubt, please comment it.
तो एक फाइनल क्वेश्चन की अभी कॉलेज सब्जेक्ट्स है. ओके, फर्स्ट वी
Which
विल.
college subjects are important for placements?
So, like I mentioned, first thing is that you should be aware of at least one of the programming languages, be it C++, Java, C, or Python. And then apart from that, you should focus on DBMS, that is database management system, operating system, that is OS, and a bit of computer networks, which is CN. And most importantly, the OOPS concept, that is object oriented programming concepts. And then you're good to go for the interview. So these are some important subjects.
ओके, सो वन मोर लास्ट क्वेश्चन की हाउ शुड बी आवर प्लेसमेंट प्रिपरेशन फ्लो, लाइक हमें कैसे स्टार्ट करना चाहिए अगर हमें 3 महीने 3 मंथ्स में करना है कोई प्लेसमेंट का प्रिपरेशन, तो व्हाट शुड बी फ्लो फॉर दैट.
मतलब in that case, अगर only 3 months are left, then time management plays a very important role. आप एक दिन में एक to do list बना सकते हो, and you should be able to categorize the time. You should be able to give the time to each and every important topic. For example, for some time do DSA. At least do 2 questions in a day for DSA. Then focus on the CS core subjects, and then focus on the aptitude. तो in that case, time management is important. क्योंकि आपको अभी 3 months है, तो you have to do all these things, right? So daily you can dedicate some fixed amount of time for each and every particular subject. Coding actually plays a very important role in case of off-campus placements for big tech companies. But if your focus is more on startup based companies या आपको skills के basis पे चाहिए, so you can enhance your skills on the basis of particular tech stack, and then you can apply for startups.
I guess Blaze lyrics is from electronics or electricity. I guess he has a Fourier transform in his syllabus.
Sorry.
Fourier transform.
हाँ.
So
हाँ, even we had Fourier transform in applied mathematics 3.
so I guess we are done with all the questions. And थैंक यू ऐश्वर्या फॉर गाइडिंग अस और बहुत अच्छा इंसाइटफुल सेशन था. बहुत सारी चीज़ें हमने जानी जैसे इंटर्नशिप्स के बारे में या डीएसए के बारे में कि क्वालिटी नहीं क्वांटिटी सॉरी क्वांटिटी नहीं क्वालिटी ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है. और
Right.
एंड
And don't fake too much in your resume.
Actually.
लाइक अगर तुम लोग गूगल क्लाउड कर रहे हो अमेजोन AWS कर रहे हो तो अगर तुम लोग को आता है अच्छे से तो ही डालो. या नेटवर्किंग भी जैसे सिस्को वगैरह है जैसे ऐश्वर्या ने सिस्को का किया था बट आपने नहीं डाला था रिज्यूमे में राइट.
No, I had done a DevNet Associate certification from Cisco, but I didn't add that in my resume because I felt I wasn't very confident to tackle those questions. Similarly, I had done a machine learning certification from TCS, but since I was confident that I will be able to answer machine learning based questions, so I added that certification in my resume. I added about it.
Knowing things actually boosts your confidence.
Actually, and giving a lot of interviews too, like you get comfortable एक time के बाद तो.
हाँ.
Right.
And also this placement period is very stressful, so especially for the 2023 pass out abhi placements are about to begin, so I would say ki rejections are bound to happen. Just don't get disheartened. बहुत सारी opportunities है. I know it is very easy to say because मैं खुद disheartened हो चुकी थी after my first rejection, but yes, sometimes blessings are disguised as failures, I can say, because if you get rejected by a company A, then after a few months it is possible that you'll get another company which is way more better than the previous one. So yeah, always have that faith.
तो लास्ट टिप थे ऐश्वर्या से कि डीमोटिवेट मत हो अगर भले रिजेक्शन आते हैं क्योंकि अगर फर्स्ट रिजेक्शन आए तो आगे कुछ अच्छा ही होता है अपना. क्योंकि बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट का 5 लाख या 7 लाख के पैकेज में रिजेक्शन होता है उनको 10 लाख 15 लाख ऐसा मिल जाता है. तो बहुत केसेस में ऐसा होता है तो पहले रिजेक्शन मिला इसलिए तो आगे उनको अच्छा पैकेज मिला. तो
It's rightly said that rejection is a form of redirection. ऐसा.
Okay, so I guess we are done.
तो थैंक यू ऐश्वर्या कोड ओएस के स्मॉल बट सिग्निफिकेंट पॉडकास्ट में आने के लिए. और ये पॉडकास्ट का रिकॉर्डेड सेशन Spotify पे भी अवेलेबल होगा तो उसका लिंक आप सबको ग्रुप में मिल जाएगा या Spotify पे भी मिल जाएगा. तो यू गाइस कैन ऑल्सो डू सब्सक्राइब अगर कोड ओएस के यूट्यूब चैनल को सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया है तो. आगे ऐसे पॉडकास्ट और आ रहे हैं हमारे चैनल पे. So that's it. Thank you, Aishwarya, for coming in. older.
Thank you so much for having me here and considering me. And it was a very good session where I could share whatever I have. Finally, I would say कि सुनो सबकी but करो अपनी ही, because I have mentioned all the things which were beneficial for me. It might be possible कि आपके लिए कुछ और ज़्यादा beneficial होगा. So you can gather all the advices from different people and do what is right for you, what suits you the best. ऐसा. Because this is very overwhelming. Like many people will give you many advices and you get overwhelmed. So that is why low advices, but finally do something which benefits you.
Yeah.
Right. Okay,
Okay,
so
then
we'll end this section.
yes.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Aishwarya.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.